Ellen and Dr. Phil are two of the biggest names in the world, but they've been beefing recently. Today I'm going to cover Ellen says she hates Dr. Phil, and this is why. Welcome back to Film Vert. Let's get into the video. He is not a doctor. Dr. Phil McGraw, a phony doctor and narrator for a pop psychology show that deliberately harms visitors and audiences. Ellen has clarified that calling him a doctor is wrong because he cannot practice as a physician. First of all, it is necessary to realize that Dr. Phil is not a true doctor. While he has a PhD in psychology and used to be a licensed psychologist, he is no longer a licensed psychologist and can no longer legally work in the state of California, where he lives and records his program. His career was marred by a series of controversy in 1988. Sarah Jane Morrison, a 19-year-old client of McGraw, reported to have an unprofessional intimate encounter with her, to have kissed her sexually and deliberately kept her totally dependent on him. The Texas State Board of Counselor Examiners reviewed the allegations, coupled with reports that McGraw illegally supported her with part-time contractual work while already engaging in a counseling relationship. Their conclusions never applied to allegations of sexual assault, but they found that McGraw had an inappropriate concurrent arrangement with Morrison by serving simultaneously as a psychiatrist and her boss. The board released a letter of reprimand to him, appointed a counselor to track his work, and asked him to take an ethics class and full psychiatric testing. Ellen says that Dr. Phil is not a phony and a predator. People should stop considering him as a saint.
And held close because, and then when people don't, that hurts. So if you come in and alienate everybody and you're pissed off and you push everybody.
He is lying to everyone. McGraw advised the American Psychological Association that he could not perceive himself as a guest psychiatrist, and that he did what with his show was not known to be psychology. He also does not say that his display is a serious replacement for counseling. He said, "We do not work under the false impression that we are doing an 8-minute cure." Instead, he feels that the primary aim of the series is to let viewers realize that it is okay to cope with issues and seek support and deliver dysfunctional knowledge on how to live one's life. He humiliates his visitors, all of whom he and his employees are in physical threat. Ellen says that many of her previous guests have come to ask her for help from this evil man.
This is your baby from the minute one. I remember back in 2007 when you were over at our house and came.
Mahafa. In 2019, Mahafa lodged a complaint against Dr. Phil and CBS following what she called a catastrophic performance on the program. According to the complaint, Mahafa was featured on Doctor in 2017. Phil has been finding support from her partner, who has been neglected by his relatives. Instead, despite finding out in a pre-show interview that she was suffering from severe mental health disabilities, the show spent a majority of its time making fun of her mental health concerns. Mahafa now suspects McGraw of aggressively questioning her and encouraging the crowd to laugh and sneer at her, triggering such a mental breakdown of emotional collapse that she was involuntarily engaged in a mental health hospital. Mahafa says that she is now struggling with threats as a consequence of the display to this day. She went on to the Ellen show and explained everything. Ellen sympathizes with her.
Is insisting that her mother is lying, and that her mother has been spinning stories about various medical conditions for as long.
Making fun of traumatized people. In 2016, McGraw's show tracked down well-established actress Shelley Duvall, well known for her role on movies such as The Shining and Popeye. Nevertheless, it became apparent during their discussion that Duvall's mental health had declined. The interview was slammed by the media for manipulating her mental condition for cheap laughter and ratings, and a number of people begged McGraw to apologize to Duvall and her relatives. Ellen criticized this heavily and said that this is no way to deal with suffering people. In comparison, his handling of addiction is often appalling. In one case, Todd Herzog, a former winner of the hit reality TV series Survivor, appeared on McGraw's 2013 show to address his alcohol addiction. He was intoxicated, though, that he had to be brought to the set and elevated to the chair. Before you ask why a highly qualified counselor did anything so barbaric as to make a guy too intoxicated to move on public TV, please remember the horribly immoral and dishonest acts that contributed to this circumstance. Leah Rothman, who suspected McGraw of locking up staff in the rooms and shouting at them over leaks to the media, said his main focus was not to support the viewers on his program, but to do so for ratings and make money. Dr. Phil also humiliated the audiences at his show at their darkest hour, causing the workers to clean up the fragments of shattered people who had placed their faith in Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
He looks real good.
He is not a nice man. Phil McGraw has decided to make the planet worse off. He has decided to create a profession that abuses and harms others. On the other side, we get to choose what the repercussions would be for his actions. Ellen has clearly stated that she is not a fan of the man, and she insists people to see Dr. Phil for the man he is and not what he's portraying to be.
He has so many great qualities. I think she's obviously very smart, but I do think
this brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.